Okay guys, we are back with Xiao Chao Meng, the 2KLP Chinese super server top laner, and today we're going to be taking a look at his Renekton with a specific focus on the early laning phase. So we're going to jump in today and take a look at what he does differently, even into these good matchups, to generate these massive leads and absolutely take over these games. Okay guys, so hopping straight into the VOD, you can see runes on the screen into this Nasus matchup. And straight away, the aggression into a weaker champion like Nasus. We do start Q rather than W. But you can see every single CS we're contesting here. Forcing this Nasus to go through his pots already. He started D shield. But we're going to be hitting level 2 here. And immediately flashing on the Nasus. And he pops Ghost. A little bit of a waste there, but again, something to be aware of in top lane. Like, a lot of champions will be taking like Ghost instead of Flash. So if you find yourself in those positions, abuse the fact that you've got this mad like agency on your damage. So you can decide when the fight starts in a lot of these cases. Just like there. And we hit the level 2. Nasus doesn't respect the flash, and like I say, even burns the ghost, completely wastes it. And now we've got the wave in a perfect spot for us, bouncing back. And we pick up the cull. Seeing him do this quite a few times actually in his games, when he gets these early advantages, doesn't bother with something like longsword refill. Does a lot of the time, says I'll dive in the mid lane, does a lot of the time go for this cull. And once that ticks to 100, you're just going to be getting an extra little advantage. As I say, the wave pushing back into him. Let's see what he does with it. So just spacing as best as possible the Nasus, getting those Qs. Thinning out the wave, building the rage up. And probably going to take a massive trade here. Don't know what Nasus is doing. Drops the Wither, but we still have E. Saving it to go in. Take a tower shot, but again, wave is absolutely doomed for Nasus, so Nasus can't recall. And again, when you're in spots like this, especially in lower reload, don't just mindlessly shove the wave. I know it'd be satisfying to jump right in there and press Q, but resist that urge. And just look at all of this CS being denied from Nasus. Yeah, and we're holding the wave, not letting it crash. Nasus forced to farm with E, which for Nasus is just doomed because your E is going to be naturally pushing the wave as well. So you're going shoving the wave, not stacking your Q. As we're almost getting another kill, but could actually be a death for us. We Q, Conqueror's procced. Red buff ticking. Managed to get it. That was well played by Nasus to bait that. I definitely would have been Ian straight in there. And probably could have killed the Nasus, but would have been a 1-for-1. So opts to play a bit more patient and ends up getting the red buff. Oh, manages to get that W off before the Nasus Q. Slices him up. And we'll be shoving this next wave. And I'm guessing looking for a recall. I'm not sure what item build we're going to go. Renekton's got a little bit of flexibility, but when you get this early advantage, I wonder if he's going to go for something like Ghostblade Rush. We'll see. What's he looking for? Bork, pretty standard. Great 1v1 and does really well with your empowered W. Ghostblade would be a nice little early power spike, but Nasus will eventually outscale. We run back to top lane. Already 3-0, 5.5 minutes. 1 or 2 minions off 6 here. See if we're going to try and push that. I mean, it's hard to get a massive trade where the wave is right now, as Wukong's gone for the invade. It's W'd away. Does have Scuttle for the move speed. Their mid has Prio, so probably... Oh, we're still going for it. I would have backed off 100%, but this Wukong's dead. Tries to bait the W by standing still. Yasuo gets a clean little E over the wall, but I don't think it's going to be enough. 1 for 1 at best here. As he does get it, which is pretty well played from him, but Nocturne's going to shove that. We'll be losing a lot. And immediately running top. Using the empowered W on the ward to get back quicker. So we don't want to give this Nasus free XP and plates. He picks 1 up, but not the end of the world. We're 5-0 at 6 minutes. Can't complain. As we pick up these creeps. Now I'm thinking maybe shove this wave. Could look for a reset or try and zone the Nasus off of XP. While getting plates. Seems to be going for the more aggressive option. And we have flash up in about 15. Even just proxying gives you a chance to do stuff on the map unpunished. But we're going to take a massive trade onto Nasus. He drops the Wither. And yeah, just a little thing about proxying. I used to think of proxying as this sort of long-term thing where if I'm proxying, I'm planning to do it for like 4 or 5 waves or something crazy. But if you can just get 1 wave proxied, it gives you such a better recall or time to make a roam mid, and there's just nothing the opponent can do about it. They can't shove 2 waves in the time it takes you to get a roam off. And if they do decide to follow you, they're going to lose a massive amount of XP and gold. As we just completely ignore the Nasus and get a kill's worth of gold just from the plates alone. Nasus pops ult and ghost. Let's see how this goes. Not amazingly, I'm going to guess. As he's running after the Renekton, but I feel like without help, he's going to get out of here pretty easily. But it does prevent more proxy for now. As we pick up that plate. And those little movements as well. It might not look like much, but adding things for the opponent to worry about, even if you don't throw abilities, it's kind of like holding CC, and that sort of acts as CC because enemies will try to juke it. Little movements like that when they're trying to last hit, just put things onto their what I'd call like a mental stack. So not only do they now have to focus about last hit and under tower, they've also got to worry about this maximum rage Renekton right in front of my face. Like, is he going to try and all in me here? And you know, it might just make him lose a couple of creeps. Bear in mind this is like Chinese Super Server high elo, so in lower elo games, just people probably have less capacity for things on that mental stack. So position yourself aggressively, make them doubt what your next move is. And again, you don't even have to attack them. Just the threat of it can be enough. We shove this, probably going to look for the recall. We got over 2k now. Burnt the Nasus TP. Nasus could try to stop us with E, but seems like it's just going to be picking up the last hits, maybe setting up a freeze. But again, it's hard to set up freezes against champs like Renekton, especially when they're played this aggressively, because you can set up a short-term freeze, but he's going to come back to lane, and with empowered Qs, that'll be shoved out almost immediately. And then, again, you're just going to get proxied or dove with enemy jungle. I mean, that's why Renekton Nidalee is such like a good combo in pro play. I suppose it's debatable. But it's contested sometimes because of the dive potential there. With a guaranteed Nidalee spear off the Renekton W. Nasus again going to pop ult for absolutely nothing. Let's get a decent little trade back, but we do have... Oh, we get withered. We're going to have to pop ult here. We're actually forced to flash. And a little bit grief. Watch that back. Let's see what went wrong. So we E in, we take a tower shot. Now we could just walk away at this point, but we decide to E back in. And I feel like if Nasus played that a little more aggressive, may have actually been able to get the kill here. We also miss the... Well, we don't use an empowered Q, we use the Q on the minions there. Like I say, force the flash away. So not great, but Nasus doesn't have ult now, so after we sustain a bit with this empowered Q... Okay, that was a little bit close. There is no way I would be going for this play. My 100% play here would be to Q, like empower Q those minions just to get a bit of life steal. There's no shot I'd be going in right now. So E's in, immediately Q's. That's, you sort of have to in this position because an auto is going to kill you from Nasus. Get the health back. W and second E through, dropping the ignite as well. That's what I mean about XCM, man. It's so aggressive. Like, how do you look at this position? I know he's got full rage and ignite, but maybe it's just because I don't play a lot of Renekton, but there's no chance I'd be attempting this. Through Bramble as well. High risk, high reward though. We're going to get this next wave, get another plate. And see the sustain. It's a decent chunk. Still early stages, but empowered Q plus the Bork. Going to be healthy enough to take some more of these plates here. And as you can see, like, if you've watched any of my other videos so far, none of them other than Zookill. So any of the Chinese Super Server or Koreans playing over in EU West, very rarely were they setting up these massive freezes and like generating leads that way. It's just been maximizing the value of these tower plates. I guess part of that at the moment is due to how bot centric the meta is. So a lot of junglers are going to have their eyes on bot, so it is more of a 1v1 situation in the top lane at the moment. Obviously it's going to vary game to game, but as a general rule, so getting those advantages, unless you can make those solo kills, maybe it's best to focus on getting these plates. Remember, a lot of the pros taking demolish in their games, especially on picks like Cassante, so they weren't really trying to get 1v1s. As we proc the Bork and we go in, Nasus again going to pop ult, we Q for the lifesteal. Trying to kite him out here, but I think we've bitten off a bit more than we can chew there. And let's take that back. How did we fuck this up? So, pop the book. Could be happy with the trade, but where that aggression might just be a bit too much. Again, both of the times we've taken these sort of questionable trades, it's when we've used our second E to re-engage. After sort of a nice burst short trade, we've then E'd in. So just something to be aware of. Even the best tops in the world still overplay their hand a bit, so just try and tame it just a tad with that second E. But yeah, like I was saying, the pros were getting a lot of value out of demolish procs, and like I say, especially on those tanky picks, they would literally just walk up to the tower, ignore the enemy that would be hitting them, wait for demolish proc, and then just E out. And they do this over and over again off of the cooldown of demolish to get those leads. Obviously there were a few solo kills thrown in there as well, but I suppose it's a more reliable way of generating gold, especially the higher up the ladder you go. People are going to be a bit more respectful of the 1v1s. 6-1 at this point. And as you can see, so we had 6 kills at that point, but a misplay does allow Nasus to kill us, so again, back to focusing on the tower. Gonna knock this down. First tower gold as well, always nice. And now let's see, are we going to look for tier 2 tower? Are we going to shove this and roam? Maybe set up something with our mid laner? Get some more plates? We'll be interested to see. I mean, the bot lane tower's got 1 plate, so could shove this and rotate, but doesn't look like he's interested. Auto W. Decent little chunk. We take the Wither as well. I think he took Tenacity into this matchup, which I'd also recommend. Nasus Wither is a pain in the ass. As we're going to get exhausted here as well. We E away and we W the Nasus. Not going to be outplaying that. Exhaust and Nasus Wither is a disgusting combo. But Jace will be utilizing the top pressure to get some plates, maybe even crack this mid tower. As Yasuo keeps chasing. So again, you know, a death is not always terrible if your team can capitalize on it, but in lower elo, I don't think it's wise to sort of plan around that. People are pretty tunnel visioned, so the amount of times I would have to ping my team, or when I play flex with friends, like if I do generate a lead and I'm split pushing, maybe I'm playing Fiora or something, they send 3 bot and we're just never in positions to capitalize on that through taking, say, Baron or just opposite side objectives. So I wouldn't rely too much on good deaths. Again, we don't see too much of this from Xiao Chao Meng either, which is shoving top and taking enemy camps, but always a good thing to do. Expanding that lead. Again, it's not through kills, it's not super obvious. But not only does it take that gold, so what was that? Just E auto W, half health in the Nasus. Or not even auto W, just straight empowered auto, empowered W. One more of them and this Nasus is going to be in kill range as he's going to pop ult. We drop the ignite. We do have flash. Wow, that was some slow reactions from Nasus. I thought he'd be able to react to that. We're going to instant stun the Wukong. We Q for the lifesteal. And we're still not backing down. Seeing red here. Nice little Q flash. Into the bush, knowing that that Wukong was going absolutely nowhere. We take the Wither, but we might be able to get this Nasus with the double E. Not even going to need it. EWQ, and he's gone. And again, this pressure. Team is having some skirmishes bot lane. We're getting towers bot. We're making picks. And one more time, the little Q flash. Didn't even need an auto with the ult damage ticking away. And Nasus knows he's a goner. I really do like this build on Renekton, the Bork. I like it on Panth as well. Rather than just straight full lethality. The empowered W's on Panth and Renekton absolutely chunk. Especially nowadays, there's, I'd say, a fair few more tanks in the top lane. See a lot of people blind picking Ornn. Malphite's obviously rampaging. Gonna take the Krugs. We got 1900. Definitely looking for a reset. What's this? Ghostblade? Ghostblade. If you don't know what to build Ghostblade. This patch, it's broken. Probably seeing most of your games. Probably 90% of the champs are building it. Little bit overtuned. What's Nasus got? He's got the Brambleverse, Tabbies, Sundera. Again, you got to put respect on Nasus a little bit when he does have the ult and Wither. Even when he's this far behind. Like forcing the double E. And he has crazy sustain, man. Like, this Nasus has inted this game. If he was playing any other champ, we'd be steamrolling. Ooh, Nasus, Nocturne gonna tank the blitz there. 3 top, bots pushing. Wonder if we're gonna look for a kill when this Nasus ult wears off. Okay. In through, we get Wukong just saving W for next game, I guess. I wonder if he used it to jump over the wall. Can we sort of infer that from his position? So he's just picked up the rift. And he was in that fight. Oh yeah, we did just see him W over. So no mind games to even worry about here. It's just auto W. Maybe Wukong was thinking XCM didn't notice. As bot lane just ending the game essentially. And that's what you want to be doing on these early game picks. Like, you don't necessarily scale incredibly well, as my dog flaps his ears in the background. So just getting early kills, getting tower, dragging enemy jungle top. And also, when you're taking enemy jungle camps away, it also sort of incentivizes them to gank your lane when they do pass by. Like, if they don't know that you've taken, say, their Krugs, and they go to Krugs and they're not there, they're sort of not forced, but they might feel forced to gank because there's no camps to farm. And then they show on the map, maybe you can even 1v2, but even just living the gank. As we're going to go low here, but baiting the Wukong there with the Q. Wukong not respecting the amount of health you get when you're in Renekton ult. But yeah, like I was saying, take enemy camps, they come, they feel like they have to gank because there's nothing else to do. Maybe they overplay when they just need to drop the ego and maybe recall, but does just free up the map for the rest of your team to capitalize on. And like I say, when the meta is so bot heavy at the moment, just going to play to your junglers, most likely win con. In their eyes anyway. We've got the cleaver. Natural pairing with the Bork. Massive shred on the armor with the empowered W. And Executioner picked up for the Nasus healing. Surprised we're running bot here. I suppose the team has such an advantage. Maybe it's just going to push for the end, but I would usually not be pushing a wave that already has an inhib down. As the team is... I'll tell you what, Neela or Nyla, however you pronounce it. I swear, every game I actually see one, which isn't often, but when I do, they always pop off. And they're fucking unkillable. With the W and the ult, like... The amount of times I've lost a game with an enemy Nyla when I'm like super fed on Riven and I feel like I can one-shot them, and then all of a sudden I'm not dealing any damage to them, they've just lifestealed all their health back and then my whole team's dead. Pretty crazy champ. There we go, that is the Renekton game from Xiao Chao Meng there. And if we take it back, just think about what happened. So again, it's a pretty good matchup for Nasus anyway. Nasus for Renekton anyway. But just finding like these moments for crazy aggression. We are taking advantage of the fact that we've got flash and he doesn't. So we have the damage agency. So you build up rage on the wave. You make sure you're paying attention to your level up timers. So we know that after the next minion, we're going to be in a position to use that not item advantage, the effective gold advantage of being a level up in raw stats and sort of baiting in the Nasus, giving him a little bit of space, and he takes it, immediately pouncing on him, and again, we even get his ghost in this situation. And then, you know, even before that, it was just straight away from level 1. Every time Nasus walks up, he's getting chunked for it. We walk back. These little micro movements, but again, we get those auto Qs in. Max range Qs, by the way. And again, especially with Renekton, you don't have to worry too much about diving deep into the enemy minions because your Q is going to scale with the health back that you get. And just finding those little pockets, like it's not much. And again, this is in a more competitive game than a lot of us are going to be playing in, but there's probably going to be more egregious mistakes that your opponents make. But it's just being ready to pounce on them when you're playing these champs. Don't, like, autopiloting's bad in any game, but when you're playing one of these early game champs, you need to be on the ball constantly and ready to punish any sort of mistakes that they make, because like I say, this was just him not paying attention to the level 2 threat, thinking that he could walk up for this melee minion when he can't. He should be farming that with E. He probably shouldn't be starting Q into this matchup. And like I say, just immediate aggression and getting those first bloods in. And then from there on, I mean, it's Renekton into Nasus. Now with massive item advantage, a wave bouncing back into you. That's the other benefit of getting these dives in and these wave crashes. So a lot of top lane is determined by wave management. So if you can get a dive off, you're not only denying the minions that are dying to the tower. That's what a lot of people would focus on naturally. But you're also setting up future waves. So right now, this top lane wave, this is going to be shoving straight back into him. And he then has the potential to set up a freeze to pair with his jungler, or just set up a freeze and just straight up deny the Nasus XP, because Nasus can't walk up until 6. We saw a few close 1v1s when he had 6, but pre-6, this Nasus cannot walk up without getting chunked. That's like a small rare case right there, because he's got the level 3 advantage, but at this point, wave shoving into you, don't necessarily focus on getting like an empowered Q off on the Nasus here. This wave is so much more valuable, so save the damage, wait until the wave crashes nearer your tower, or till you get a freeze near your tower, and then walk behind the minions and then start, you know, use whatever damage you want in them at that point. But it's not worth risking breaking the freeze, because this is like the perfect position to be in against a Nasus, because they will outscale you and they will like run out of control if you let them. So wave management, super key into this matchup. But yeah, that was Xiao Chao Meng's Renekton. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, found it interesting and learned a thing or two. And I'm trying not to focus too much on XCM on this channel. Like, I want to branch out and do other people. Like when the pros were over for EU West, really enjoyed that. So I will try and make the next video on someone that isn't Xiao Chao Meng. But yeah, if there's anyone you want me to check out, leave me a comment below and let me know, and I'll be sure to check them out. But otherwise, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.